Waiting for Hussein's mic to connect. Okay, it's connected now. Okay, guys, are you getting it? I hope you can hear me and see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So is this clear? You have to talk about it. Don't say you are a part of this team. Okay, then the questions will change and everything will change. Don't say you are a part of this team, but you know the process, you can say. There's a team who does this, everything is done. Then we come to assessment. Okay. Here we are not talking about the technical assessment with tool and everything. That we will do practically. Assessment, what we are talking about, that we'll do the discovery assessment using Azure migration tool. Let me show it to you. Azure migrate tool, we saw it, right? Okay. So once you explain this, then you can talk about the assessment. This assessment, we are talking about the technical assessment. We'll see this in portal as well. But before this, you can also talk about assessment of this report that I have not mentioned here. You can talk about it. Even if you skip, that is fine. But the flow इस तरह से जाना चाहिए that you have done this, everything is done. Then इस report का भी एक assessment होता है. ये जो report बनती है, इसका एक assessment होता है. Okay, so we have done this and now we think the Azure is good. So let's assess that once कोई we may validate that there are validation point. We can validate that with Microsoft or some third party, some freelancers. जहाँ से भी करना हो, they get it done. There are many companies, consultancy companies are there that this is the plan we have created and we are planning to go ahead with migration. Do you have any questions for us or any suggestion for us? जो report बनता है, उस पे उस तरह का एक assessment और एक scrutiny होता है. Once that is done, everything is finalized. Then it comes to you guys. Okay, and now here your job starts. We'll do the little bit practical also because you will not understand this without portal. But don't worry, we'll repeat all practicals. Whenever we have practical session, we'll repeat everything again from scratch. Here I will show it to you in bits and pieces. So assessment, now this is technical assessment we are talking about. We'll do the discovery and assessment using Azure migrate assessment tool. It is not necessary that only this tool is available. I have shown you last time there are multiple tools available. You can talk about this because this is freely available and you can practice on this, and once you practice you will understand well. You can speak about it in a better manner. If you want to talk about some other tool, then you will have to do a study on that tool also, and that is not available freely for us to practice. That is the reason I am saying Azure migrate tool. Otherwise it could be any tool, and companies also use, I mean it's not nothing like that that's it's free and as a Microsoft's tool, so no one uses that. Huge companies will also use this tool. So you can say I have in my project I have used only Azure migrate tool. That is very good. It's recommended by Microsoft and it gives us good results. So I have used Azure migrate tool. But I know there are multiple tools. और आपको एक बार एक tool आ जाता तो it's almost similar. Okay, few options here and there, some features are extra maybe, but it's almost similar. So we'll do the assessment using Azure migrate tool assessment tool. Okay, it is recommended to give sufficient time for the assessment to get better results. Now when you say doing the assessment, what do you mean by that? Okay, I'll show it to you the practical portal also. But first thing, for how many days will you assess? Let's say I'm doing the assessment. Let me open the MS Paint first. These are my machines where I have some application. Okay, I'm planning to move them to Azure. Before moving to Azure, what I'm doing, I'm doing an assessment. I've installed Azure assessment tool and I'm doing the assessment on these machines. Okay, let's say this is the tool. And it hardly takes an hour for assessment. Okay, hardly takes an hour. What will it do in assessment? I'll share some reports with you later. I have to do some sanity work on those clients' name are there. There was a freelancing project I did, so some reports are available. Though those are public, I can share it with you. Nothing personal I'll be sharing with you guys. So there you will see what kind of report do you get with the help of assessment tool. With the help of assessment tool, you will see what report you will get. You will see that what is the current RAM size of this machine. Now, say talking about one machine, it's okay. You can take it manually, but here we're talking about thousands of machines. Okay, so what is the current size? size of RAM. Individual machines, okay, they will give you 1000 machine, this machine number 1, machine 2, machine 3, something like this. What is the CPU size, disk size? Okay, this is one of the reports which you get. Let's say 4 GB RAM, 2 virtual CPUs. This I'm talking about one machine, guys. Okay, this will give you a report for all machines. 500 GB hard disk. It will give you for all of machines. This is just one aspect. What is the other aspect of this assessment? That how much of the RAM is being used. Out of 4 GB, tool comes to know that only 10% of the RAM of 4 GB, which is not even 1 GB, it is being used on some machines. Okay, CPU is 4, only 8% is being used out of it. 500 GB is this, but I can see based on a pattern, I can see only 100 GB is being used. Here I'm not talking 100%, 100 GB is being used. Here 10%, 8%. Okay, is it clear, guys? Are you guys clear till here? What I'm trying to explain, that what tools does here? I'll come to my
Yes.
question then. Okay, now my question is, I have run this assessment tool for an hour and I've got the above report for 1000 servers. Oh, by the way, with this report, this assessment will give you a recommendation also. Ignore the spelling, guys. का recommendation also. Recommendation में क्या लिखा होगा यहाँ पर? That machine XYZ or machine 1 or VM1, VM2, VM3, they have 4 GB RAM, 4 virtual CPU. Okay, they have 4 GB RAM, 4 virtual CPU. But based on assessment, uh, they have come to know that. Hussein, do you have any question?
No.
Okay, right. Hmm. So based on assessment, the tool has realized, or tool has come to a conclusion that you can take a machine on Azure. Tool will definitely tell you that what kind of machine can you take, size of machine. I hope you remember the size of machines, right? I don't have to explain it. So based on the assessment, tool will tell you, though your current machine size is 4 GB and 4 CPU, but based on your usage, tool is suggesting you take a machine which has 2 GB RAM and 2 virtual CPU. And this is how you are saving your cost. Understood, guys? That how is it helping you when it goes to cloud? Is it clear till here?
Yes.
Okay. Now my question is that this assessment was run for an hour. I told you an hour is enough for to run an assessment. This assessment was run for an hour for on those 1000 machines, and this is what we have got report. Now, based on this, do you think it is sensible decision to go ahead and just decide, okay, let's downsize all the machines and do it? If yes, why? If not, why? What comes to your mind that is 1 hour enough? Is 1 hour not enough? If not, why? If yes, why?
Soil, can I try?
Tell me.
I think so. 1 hour is not enough because we also wanted to know whether the machines are running. Is that a peak time or not?
Perfect. See, there are some application. I'll give you an example. GST. Let's say this is some GST application, maybe government or some individual third CA firm who deal with GST, and they have create a portal for their customers, that you can come and fill up your details here and we'll do the GST filing for you. And the deadline for GST, it's 31st of this month, example. Okay, 31st of this month. So it is human tendency. Normally they will not do it till 25, 26. And after 26, maybe all of them will rush. Let's say 31st November. We'll take the last month's example. 31st November was the deadline. Okay, and I ran my assessment for on 15th November. 15th November, I ran my assessment, and the assessment tool told me to downgrade it. Fine, I downgraded everything. Machine was downgraded. Okay, 31st is the GST due date. Now on 26th of November, people have started working. When the assessment was done on 15th of November, nobody bothered to check that application because they were thinking, okay, it is there for due date is there till 31st, right? Why should I do it now? Same happens with our appraisal. You must have seen appraisal portals get slow and they start lagging at the last moment. Hence, managers keep saying that do it at early as possible. Okay. Same thing happens in every application and everywhere. So if we do our assessment for just for 1 hour, or let's say for whole day, 15th of November, what we will get as a result that it is underutilized. Your machine is underutilized, and we uh, downgraded the size. But the actual work of this machine started on 26th, and that time it failed. Why? Because it did not have capacity. Hence, it is always recommended to give enough time assessments. Sometimes they do it for months also. They will install agent and everything, and they will just leave it for a month, and they will see the report after a month. So they will get a better picture. Right? Some
So
banking
who
application is there.
decides this? I mean, the architect team.
This one, right? Everything will be decided by architect
Okay.
team.
Okay.
You guys just have to implement that.
Okay.
They're asking you to do the assessment for 1 month. You just install the agent and everything, send email, assessment has been started. We'll collect the report after a month. Please make the reminder just to check whether it is working fine or not. Keep checking your console, it is working or not. Okay, everything will be say decision making. You can clearly say very bluntly that I was not the decision making authority. The moment you say that I decided for 1 month, then your playground changes. Then they will say, on what basis did you decide 1 month? What tools did you use? What were the recommendations? Did you use Microsoft framework? How did you decide it should go for 1 month and not for 15 days and not for 1 week? उसके बाद पूरे क्वेश्चन ही चेंज हो जाएगा the moment you say कि नहीं I was also I used to do that. It is easier to say in one sentence, but then questions will change. So don't ever do that. You simply stick to this. Decision making authority was the architecture team because they have their own study. How will you come to know? Tell me one thing. How will you know कि किस application को and it's not possible to run. I mean technically possible, but not sensible to run uh, assessment on all 1,000 machines for a month. Why would I do that? बट हाउ विल आई नो कि कौन से मशीन का नेचर किस एप्लीकेशन का नेचर किस तरह से है विच मशीन इज बीइंग ओवर यूटिलाइज इन विच पर्टिकुलर डे व्हाट इज द expected traffic on that machine, what is the forecast? Being an engineer, how would you know that? If you don't know that, on what basis did you decide? So that is the reason it is a part of architects team. Architect team, if they ask us and on what basis did you do it, we have a lot of documents. We interview client, we interview application owner, we interview them for 2 and 3 hours. We ask them questions. We ask for past data. Can you share the data? We ask for the last year's growth also, application growth. We also ask, हम उनसे ये भी पूछते हैं in our interview कि यार आपका data growth भी बताओ हमको कि you started this application last year, okay, इसका hard disk size कितना था application का? You started with 2 TB. How much it is now? 3 TB. अच्छा, तो आपका growth rate जो है so and so percentage से growth rate है. So we have to consider everything. इसका मतलब इसका utilization इतना है. So इसका मतलब per day पे इतना use हो रहा है. So that is a different calculation. So never go into that. Otherwise आपके questions change हो जाएंगे and I had a live experience for this. I am not sure if Irfan is not here today, right? Irfan did the same mistake for Varian. Uh, he went into architect track and the questions changed and he wasn't able to clear that interview. So don't do that. You see, why would you do that, right? You're not applying for an architect role. You're not demanding a salary of an architect. Why would you unnecessarily go ahead and read about architects questions, and why you want to take extra load on yourself? You say I'm applying for a platform engineer, I'm applying for implementation engineer. or Azure support. I am an administrator. I have been doing that work. I'm asking salary for that. I'm aware of these questions because I'm sure if you onboard me, you will also have an architect team, right? I mean, not literally in this tone, however you want to tweak it, but this is what your approach should be. Clear, Amit?
Yes.
So most of the things which we are discussing here, इसमें से आपका बहुत minor role है. But again, I told you, you cannot say this कि यार मेरे पास तो simply एक पेपर आता था और मैं उसको देखकर यहाँ पर बस click by click करता था. They can get it done from engineering pass out student on 3 LPA. Okay? So you should understand the process at least कि इसके पीछे होता क्या है. Anyone? Any other question or should we move? Okay. So we have to give time, months, sometime weeks. There are some applications जिसपे सिर्फ संडे को लोड आता है और मैंने उसको सिर्फ मंडे टू फ्राइडे एसेस कर दिया, तो आई विल से कि ठीक है इसको डाउनग्रेड कर दो. Okay. And understand one thing. Being an engineer, a platform engineer, if you do something wrong, that is still fine. We have a validation point. Okay. I asked you to create a machine. I asked you to create a machine of 4 GB RAM. You created a machine of 2 GB RAM. Or let's say you created 10 machines of 2 GB RAM. Still, that is fine. Why? Because I have my architect's report to validate with it. Okay, it was written 4 GB. Why did you create 2 GB? It was written 2 GB. Why did you create 1 GB? I can use a Terraform script or PowerShell script or something, or maybe manually I can change those RAM size, and then I can go ahead with my business. But if something goes wrong in architect's design, then your base, your landing zone, your method, and everything messes up. And there's no way, it is not an easy task that you can go and change what was done at the beginning. Because based on this, your DevOps team will create some plan. Based on this, your architects will give you ARM templates. They will give you Terraform scripts. तो सब अगर वहीं से गलत हो जाता है ना, then it is very difficult. Hence, do not put yourself into this position कि जहाँ पे unnecessary के difficult questions आ जाए आपको. Okay, so we are talking about here. We are talking about this giving the sufficient time. Why am I explaining this to you in detail? Because you have to do this in your interview. You should not be sounding like आप बस पढ़ के आए हो, you are not meaning it or you don't understand it. That should not happen. Okay, so you should give sufficient time for assessment to get better results. Example, if we have an application which, see, I have already given the example also. You can use the same example. I'm not repeating this here. Read it from here. Okay, it's the same example. Instead of I guess month, I'm talking about a week. So we will not get the correct way. In this assessment, you will get a detailed report of server readiness. Okay, one more thing. Server readiness also you get in this report. What do you mean by server readiness now? That for some application I'm using very legacy operating system. Let's say Windows 2003. No one uses that, by the way. And still I have seen 2-3 servers. ऐसा नहीं कि बिल्कुल ही बंद हो गया. Because my application is not compatible. मेरा application का coding बहुत पुराना है. वो compatible भी नहीं है न्यू ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम के साथ चलने के लिए. ठीक है. Hence what am I doing? मैंने एप्लीकेशन भी वही रखा है ना, मैं कोड चेंज कर रहा हूँ और ना मैं ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम चेंज कर रहा हूँ. Why am I not spending this? After 2 years I'm planning to decommission this application and get something new. So I don't want to spend money on this as of now. Okay, maybe this is the scenario. So a 2003 server, it will not be able to move to cloud. So that is something called server readiness. So ये report में ये भी check करेगा कि okay, I have checked 1000 servers and out of 1000 servers I see 950 servers are ready to move. 50 servers required these changes. I'll share a report with you guys for sure. Maybe next session, let me do some work on that report and I'll share a report with you. Okay, how exactly it looks like. Okay, a live report, I'll share it with you. I'll just have to talk to client that if this is okay to share, though it is available publicly, but still it's good to take consent that if we can use that in our training sessions, and I'll share it with you. Okay. So you get server readiness. You have to say all these things, these jargons. Okay. Confidence rating. What is the confidence rating of this migration? We'll see this when we do. We'll see the confidence rating also. Okay. We will get the recommendations from Azure. This one, the one which I was talking about. that currently you're using 4 GB machine, please switch to 2 GB. And it's not always underutilized, guys. Okay, it's always, sometimes it is overutilized also. 4 GB RAM, in assessment tool realize that it is using 90% of RAM and 90% of CPU. And after 500 GB, 400 is being used. Immediately Azure will suggest you that you should change the size. You should go for a bigger size. Otherwise, this machine is going to fail someday in live environment. So it's not all the time saving money. It's always about getting a better product or getting solution. So sometimes you will have to uh, enhance the machine also. It's not always desizing the machine or removing resources from machine. Sometimes we add also. Okay, we get recommendations. We also, it also shows the cost estimate. See, if Azure is showing that you should have this machine of this size, it will immediately next column, it will show you the rates also, that this size will cost you this much, this size will cost you this much, this size will cost you this much. Again, being an engineer, why can't you decide which machine to take? Because you don't know how much they are spending here on the current machine. Architect team, they interview their chief financial officers and their uh, finance team also to check their budget. How much did you spend on this server? How much did you spend on that data center? How much did you spend on electricity? How much are you spending on network cabling? Everything. They have data, they have source, so they can decide which machine is good. Are you getting it? Why am I explaining it to you? See, no role is big here or small. It is just different roles. Okay. So if someone asks you in interview that why can't you take the decision? You know all these things. What are the benchmarks? So what should be your answer? Fine, I know the benchmarks. I know how it works. But it wasn't a part of my job. I did not have that data. इनके financials जो है, आपका जो client है, वो अपनी budget report or financial spending report, they will share it with the minimum people, right? They will not just make it public and let every engineer of their vendor check it. For example, now you're working for UT-Kloud. UT-Kloud is working for some other company, right? So that company will not make their financial document publicly for every employee of UT-Kloud. They will say, okay, which are your decision-making people? I'll give access only to them. Let them say it, let them decide, and then your team let your team work. Are you guys getting it? So if an interviewer is asking that why can't you decide, you can say I can definitely, but I that is not a part of my job, and I never had access to those documents. Amit, Hussein, Vinayak, are you guys getting it?
Yes, Sohel bhai.
इसमें एक चीज ये होता है, आफ्टर असेसिंग रिकमेंडेशंस मिलते हैं मशीन साइज एंड ऑल, उसमें एक अजूर ये भी रेकमेंड करता है कि ये मशीन कंपैटिबल नहीं है या कुछ है, ऐसे भी
Yeah, no,
सिनेरियोज आते हैं।
here it is.
तो
That
उसमें
is server readiness.
तो जब हम तो वो ट्रबल शूटिंग हमें करना होता है।
That depends. Now, what is the server readiness? Let's say that I'm saying, same example, I said 1,000 machines have been scanned. वैसे तो in a blunt answer, no, you don't have to do that. 1,950 are cloud ready machines. Cloud ready. 50 are not ready. अब आपके पास 50 की लिस्ट आ जाएगी. VM1, VM10, VM51, VMXYZ. Okay, something like this. These 50 machines are not ready. Why are they not ready? I'm just giving example. Okay, this is not okay. I have never seen this. License outdated. Okay,
या
could be.
ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम के कुछ इश्यूज।
OS license is not updated. Maybe it is not a genuine Windows. What can you do about it, right? It's your client's environment. Can you purchase a license for them? Can you log into their system and upgrade license? No. Your job is to, in fact, वो आप तक आएगा भी नहीं, आता भी है तो it's you can tell them that this is the issue. Assign someone to update the license. Okay. It could be old OS. Example 2K3. Now, if that is the case, they have to upgrade their operating system from 2K3 to 2K8, 2K12, whatever they want to. Do you think you can do that? उसके लिए पूरा विंडोज टीम, लिनक्स टीम वगैरह जो कुछ है वो एक अलग एक्सपर्टीज होगी, राइट? अलग टाइप के एक्सेसेस लगेंगे. यू कैन डू दैट. ओके. Port XYZ is not opened. you will not be able to do it because it's their network firewall का port, right? You will have to ask them to do it. Okay. Let's say from some data center, let's say 2 different locations or something, and one of them is saying कि network connectivity is not there, or any error which is at the portal side, you will deal with it, and any error at the data center side, the data center team will take care of that. Clear, Amit?
Okay. So, but we have to communicate to them that ये
हाँ,
problem.
either you or most of the time, again I told you, ये भी architect level पे उसी team से हो जाता है. Say because if I see 1,000 servers are there, see, architect team will work with you closely. Okay. I say 1,000 servers are there, 950. We are running this report. Okay, being let's say that I'm from architect team, so I'm running this report, and I see 950 servers are not ready. I can read the report. I understand. I see these VMs license, इसमें license की जरूरत है, इसमें upgrade करने की जरूरत है. Why would I give it to you? I know my team is capable for. I know that I have 4 implementation engineers. Okay, or 3 of you are working as an implementation engineer for me. I know you can work on Azure. What kind of access do you have with this client? Because I have discussed everything, right? आप लोगों का access भी मैंने ही मांगा इस client से. I know what kind of access do you have. I know you don't have access to upgrade. So why will I give it to you? Why would I waste your time? Right? What will I do? मैं आपको 950 servers ही दूंगा. Information आती है सब कुछ आपके पास, okay? You are a part of that email. जो पूरा मेल ट्रेल चलता रहेगा ना, उसमें आपको दिखेगा कि ओके 1,000 सर्वर्स, being an architect I'm sending an email to my client. Okay, XYZ, dear sir, dear ma'am, dear name, whatever, एक लंबा चौड़ा सा फॉर्मेट, वी हैव सक्सेसफुली, ये वो बहुत सी बकवास लिखनी पड़ती है उसमें, टेक्निकल टर्म्स वगैरह. देन नीचे 4-5 लाइन में काम की बात. वी स्कैंड 1,000 सर्वर्स. व्हाइट पेपर लिखते हैं ना, उस तरह का फालतू का काम होता है. मतलब काम की बात हम 4 लाइन में भी कवर कर सकते हैं, बट इसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा कि हमने क्या लेवरेज किया, क्या यूटिलाइज किया, क्या फ्रेमवर्क यूटिलाइज किया, क्या मेथड ये, क्या पैरामीटर क्या थे, वो सब एक बैकग्राउंड देना पड़ता है. बिकॉज ये ईमेल्स जो है ना, टेक्निकल टीम को नहीं जाते. आर्किटेक्ट टीम से जो जाते हैं वो अपर मैनेजमेंट को जाते हैं मोस्टली. टेक्निकल टीम दे आर पार्ट, इसलिए उसको दोनों हिस्सों में लिखना पड़ता है. टेक्निकल भी लिखना है, एंड जो अपर मैनेजमेंट को समझ में आए वैसा भी लिखना पड़ता है. विद दिस डायग्राम वगैरह, पीपीटी, वीडियो, वो सब कुछ जाता है. पाई चार्ट शोइंग के 1,000 सर्वर स्कैन्स किए हमने, उसमें से 950 जो है रेडी टू मूव है. ठीक है, 1,000 सर्वर्स हमने स्कैन किए, ये 950 रेडी टू मूव. हियर समवेयर यू विल बी addressed. Okay, cloud team or whatever the name of your team. Okay, please find attached list, coordinate with ignore the spellings guys, coordinate with XYZ. यहाँ पे किसी क्लाइंट के इसका नाम होगा, मैनेजर का, जो भी इस प्रोजेक्ट को लीड कर रहा है, वहां से coordinate with XYZ and start migration plan. Okay, not saying migration, start migration plan. उसके लिए भी प्लान करना पड़ता है कि पहले कितने मशीन्स ले रहे हैं हम, कहाँ से ये हो रहे हैं. Okay, something like this. Okay. Again, फिर किसी और टीम को, लेट्स से अगेन उनके मैनेजमेंट को या किसी को, और या फिर उनका जो विंडोज टीम है, मे बी उनके विंडोज टीम को, लिस्ट ऑफ 50 not ready servers and reasons have been attached. This is what you will have to do. Could someone please take the ownership and get back to us? Are you getting it, Amit, Hussein? समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को कैसे होगा?
Yes.
So you will see those 50 servers, everything will be there, but हमको पता है कि आप उस पर काम नहीं कर सकते. Why would we waste your time? Right? You will see that, but you will see कि ठीक है, ये अभी एक्शन में पेंडिंग पड़ा है. आपके पास में भी टिकट आके रह गया है, but it is pending. उसमें एक टास्क है पहले क्लाइंट को काम करने के लिए. Client will work on that, will close the task, and they will tell you. वो फिर से उस कमेंट से आगे अपना कमेंट ये कर देंगे कि ओके क्या क्या कमेंट था यहाँ पर. लाइसेंस नॉट अपडेटेड, मे बी 10 सर्वर्स के लिए था, उनका इंजीनियर काम करेगा उस पर. ही विल से अपडेटेड, do the assessment again. Got it? This is how it works. Then again cycle will start, and then we'll decide कि पूरा assessment फिर से करना है या short term assessment करना है, इस वक्त किस तरह से करना है. Is it clear? Yes, Amit, is your doubt clear?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So recommendation, it will show the cost estimate. We could create a group of servers. ये एक बहुत important topic, I'll explain. Group of servers, and all this assessment outcome can be used while migrating. One more thing, these are recommendations, okay? Only because the recommendation assessment tool is saying you should do this, go to switch to 2 GB RAM. You're not compelled to do that. These are just suggestions. You can do that. You can migrate with the same size, or you can enhance it. This one is saying enhance it. Not necessary you have to do it. You can go ahead with the same one. You can downsize this also. It's up to you. You know it better. You know your business. You know that when assessment was done, I had 10,000 users for this application, but due to pandemic or due to recession, I have removed my 5,000 employees. So now there are only 5,000. Capacity has been cut from 50% directly. So I don't want this now. So I can move with the same capacity, or maybe I can downsize. So it's completely up to you. These are just recommendation. Other point I was discussing, okay, group of servers. The report which I'll show it to you, the report I'll share with you, that has a parameter called independency or dependency. Both reports are there, which are independent server, which can be moved in isolation. Doesn't matter. There is only one server. No dependency is there. I can move it. But this application 1, I see that these 3 servers, okay, application 1, 3 servers are front end, 2 back end, 2 database. Plus I see when I was assessing this server for 1 month, I see that this server was continuously talking to one server which is kept in our backend. Not this application server, okay? ये तो इसका front end हुआ, ये इसका back end हुआ, ये इसके दो database हुए. Some other service also, it was calling some data. So it was connected to server XYZ. It was connected to server ABC. It was connected to some firewall. Okay, it was taking some credentials from some vault. किसी भी तरह की कोई भी dependency है ना, वो सारी dependency का यहाँ पर जो है आपको एक group मिल जाता है. That we could create a group of servers. So we'll have to create a group of that. I do not want to move only these 3 servers and leave these 2 here. So my application breaks down. That should not happen. जितना भी dependency है, you have to make a group of them and then migrate them. So that is what you're creating group. Okay, now it comes to migration. Migration में यहाँ कोई पढ़ाने लायक चीज है नहीं. Migration will do directly on our portal. So migration I'll start in next session. Before this, let me. Okay, there's a landing zone setup before we migrate. A post assessment, yeah. Post assessment, we create a landing zone setup. What is the landing zone setup? इस आंसर को literally ऐसे ही आंसर दे देना. It gives very good impression. Okay. What we do before migrating and post assessment. This has been done. Everything assessment has done. Discovery report, everything is done. We have decided. So we create a landing zone setup. Now, what is a landing zone setup? Where we take care of Azure account. Let's say that I'm moving 1,000 machines, but I have 0 machine on Azure. So what will I require here? Azure account, subscription, Azure Active Directory, accesses, resource group, VNet, NSGs, VPN, firewall, policies, sometimes load balancer if needed. This will do. ये मैं discuss करूँगा कि load balancer वाला scenario कैसे बताना है. It will give good impression in your interview. If needed, load balancer. All these can be done and have to be done before we start moving our machines to cloud. And it's not necessary every time you have to go with Azure account. Why? There could be a case that client has 1,000 machines on-prem and 500 already on cloud, and now he's moving remaining machines. Do you have to create Azure account? No, he already has an account. Do you have to create a subscription? Depends. That you will get in your architecture diagram. That move these machines to similar subscription or create new subscription. Azure Active Directory, for sure you don't have to create one, because even if one machine is there, it means Azure Active Directory is already there. Accesses, you have to take care of that. ये जो टीम काम कर रही है उसको sufficient access है या नहीं है. Resource group again depends. Are they asking you to move these machines to existing resource groups, or are they asking you to create new resource group? Same applies to VNet, NSE, firewall, everything depends on your diagram. But combination of this called landing zone setup. I hope you can understand by literally by the language that you're creating a landing zone for your machines. Okay. All tasks which can be performed without VM, we set up them first. मतलब virtual machine move करने से पहले जितना भी किया जा सकता है ना, we do that. And then think of moving virtual machine. It decreases the downtime window. What happens, इससे क्या होगा, आपका downtime window जो है वो decrease होगा. Okay. If I move machine first and then start creating VPN, then I start creating firewalls, because VNet और इसके बिना तो machine move होगी नहीं. Okay. So VNet मैंने बना दिया, let's say. But later I'm doing all this. Load balancer उसके बाद मैं बना रहा हूँ, backend में machine use कर रहा हूँ. Instead of that, I can create everything, which can be done without VMs. Everything I'll keep it ready. I'll test them first with the dummy machines, and then I'll start moving my genuine machines. See, once migrated, then we do the testing, connectivity testing, and then the DNS change, repointing. DNS change का क्या होता है? That, see, I am typing here google.com. The moment I type here google.com, now it is redirecting me to the Google server. Now where that server is, it's on their on-prem. Now they are moving it, planning it to move to cloud. So they won't change the DNS. इसके पीछे का IP address अभी change नहीं कर देंगे वो. They will do everything first, testing and everything. Once that is done, then they will change the IP address. So now my Google request is going to their on-prem. Next time my Google request will go to their cloud. That is your DNS repointing. Okay. Then after this, what do you guys do? You're not into support. You're presenting yourself as an implementation. So after migration, you can say there is a hypercare period for 2 weeks. Once we migrate the load, we help them for 2 weeks. Now what happens, यहाँ पर ये तो था, वो बनाओ, ये सब मिल गया था हमको, recommendation everything सब कुछ मिला था, but उसके बाद भी क्या होता है, we do monitor for cost. ऐसा होता है कि कोई मशीन का कॉस्ट बहुत ज्यादा आ रहा है, कोई ओवरसाइज तो नहीं हो गई, कोई अननेसेसरी पोर्ट्स तो हमने खुला नहीं रख दिया. So these are the factors which we inspect in these 2 weeks, which is called post migration. और उसमें कोई RDP ब्लॉक तो नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ चल नहीं रहा है. I mean, in short, a support for 2 weeks. After that, we move it, we give the client to support team. Okay. We'll talk about 6 R's, very important must ask question, and we'll do the practical in next session whenever we have. These are the 6 R's we'll do. You can go through this migration section and we'll discuss that later. Okay guys, I'll close the session then for
Okay.
today. If you have any questions, ping me on WhatsApp.